I'm Gaia, and I'm here to talk about building a personal brand by following the simple principle of following your gut and also your highest excitement. So I'm not going to bore you guys with like strategy and like business insight and numbers because I don't know anything about any of those topics. But let me just explain to you my story. Share with you my story because that might give you an idea as to how I got here, how I built myself and my brand. So if someone were to ask me as to how did you kind of figure out your passion, how did you figure out, your calling, your purpose, I would definitely say that it happened accidentally. It was an absolute accident for me. So as a child, my theory, like when I was probably 6 years old, my family basically taught me and conditioned me to believe that you got to be a doctor. That's like the respectable thing to do. People are going to respect you for it. You're going to heal people. You're going to change lives and whatnot. So I was conditioned to believe so. I was like, I'm going to become a doctor. I'm going to become a doctor. But when it came to me choosing my A-level subjects, I kind of realized that science was not the thing that I wanted to do, 100%. So after I was done with my A-levels, I did commerce because everyone else did commerce. My best friends did commerce. It was kind of the in thing to do. So after my A-levels, I kind of figured out that, no, commerce is not my thing. It's not the thing I want to do for the rest of my life. So I did that. So age 20 to 25, I went to Melbourne. I studied in one of the best universities in Melbourne. I studied criminal justice administration. And toward the end, literally probably 2 months before I graduated, I packed up and I left. I literally had to do an internship, get my graduation, come back home, but I packed up and I left. My family was really proud of me. But after I came back to Sri Lanka, again, I was pretty lost. I was like, what am I doing with my life? 5 years in Australia, guys, 3 jobs at a time. I busted my bum trying to make that money, trying to, feed myself and also have fun. And not just that, I went through a traumatic, abusive relationship. I was clinically diagnosed depressed. They recommended that I should go on pills. And I was out of my mind broke. I was so broke that I had to choose between my dog's food and my food during certain periods of time. I remember I used to live with a bunch of Peruvians, South Americans. These guys, they like to drink, they like to eat, they party. And I remember at one point I was in my room. I had no internet because I hadn't paid my bill. I had no phone access because my phone line was bad. I had no money. I was starving. And I could smell the roast chicken they were making from my room. And I was like, damn, what do I do? My pride was too big for me to call my parents up and say, can you send me some cash because I'm hungry? I wouldn't do that. So basically, during all these dark times, there was this tiny voice in the back of my head that said, keep going. There's something better for you out there, so just keep going. And one thing remained constant for me, and it was the fact that I was sick and tired of living inside my brain. Constant talking, this monkey mind just would not shut up. Dark, morbid, depressing thoughts. I was constantly looking for a way out. And because of that, I came across a lot of knowledge. I was seeking for some form of truth that will ground me. So I started studying different types of religion. I started getting into spiritual teachings. I started reading about Zen Buddhism, psychedelics. And I started following really interesting thinkers like Carl Jung and Ralph Waldo Emerson and Alan Watts, and these guys kind of spoke to me. And during this process, I came across this one individual on YouTube. I watched his first video, and I was like, who is this guy? Because I felt something tug, deep within me. And I actually want to share with you the first minute of that video that I watched 8 years ago that changed my life forever. Can we play this?
There's something you gotta understand about training. It is not just the body that's at work. There's an integration of mind, spirit, and body at play. There's a threshold that you have to cross in order to access the power of the mind and the spirit in your training. Lifting barbells isn't just lifting fucking barbells. Lifting barbells is a transformative process that makes you a stronger person of yourself instantly. if you cross this threshold. Most people are too scared to cross that threshold. When you cross that threshold, you're like breaking through a fortress, and within that fortress, there are jewels of untold value that will instantly turn you into a brand new person. A type of person that wherever you go, people will know that you're not the same. People will recognize the newfound power in you simply by approaching training from the spiritual perspective.
All right. Does anyone know who that is? Anybody at all? No? Okay, so this guy, philosopher, teacher, possibly the best strength coach in the world, Elliot Hals, he spoke of a truth that really resonated within me. Like, it was very close to my truth. He spoke about how the mind and the body is one thing. Your body can internalize trauma, anxiety, depression through neurotic holding patterns. And how do you free yourself from depression? People wanted me to go on pills when I was 20 years old. I was stubborn. I was like, I'm not going to go on any pills. I'm going to try to figure this on my own. So he spoke about how you can free yourself through movement. So I know a lot of people have found peace through meditation and all of that. I could never do that. Like, this wouldn't shut up, right? So the only single time that I felt as if I was in a meditative state was when I was working out, when I was connected with my body, when I was moving. So that opened me up to meditation and, other things that were deeper than that. Elliot Hals, you guys need to YouTube him, Google him and study about him because he's absolutely insane. But I want to show you how this truth transformed me forever. I transformed from outside in. I broke through the layers of my body and released all that trauma. And I transformed not just from the way I looked, but here as well. Can we go to the next slide? So that's me. On the left, I was probably 17 or 18 years old. On the right, that picture was taken probably 2 weeks ago. I'm 31 years old over there. Next picture. Another one. 19, 30. One more. So this picture, I was exactly 20 years old. I was living in a place called Sunshine, a ghetto area in Melbourne. And I was forcing myself to smile over here. I still remember that very moment. I was feeling absolutely crappy inside. And the picture right next to it was taken probably a month ago. So what I feel like is that the truth that I discovered not only just transformed my body, but transformed my spirit. So whatever I understood or realized along this journey, people started noticing. People would come up to me and say, "Are you a trainer? Can you train me?" I'd be like, "No, but I'm not qualified. No, I don't have the perfect body to be a trainer yet." But people kept coming up to me, so I started training people. So the truth and the understanding I gained from my own journey, I started applying it to my own clients. So this girl, her name is Ramya Kondapalli, severe depression, studies in the United States. She's Indian. And you can see the body language. She's forcing a smile over here and over there. She feels all confident. And you can see the vibe there. Second one. She was a very skinny girl who wanted to feel strong. So in the second picture, you see the muscles popping up, biceps. And third one. Her name is Ravitri. She's from Melbourne. She's wearing the same dress in both pictures. And this was transformation probably within 2 to 3 months. Next one. You see the big Bundy? That's a 19-year-old girl. The transformation happened again in 2 to 3 months. She was a student in England who came down, who I ended up personal training. All right. So, how did I create a platform and how did I develop a personal brand without any strategy, without any business insight? How was I able to attract people from all around the world, from Switzerland, from America, from India, from England, from Malaysia, from Singapore? You name the country, I bet you I probably have a client from over there. So how was I able to do this? How was I able to multiply my income in 6 times within 1 to 2 years? While knowing nothing. Business insight, zero. So all I wanted to share with you is the fact that whatever I have developed for myself and for my brand is through utter gut feeling and intuition and just following my highest excitement. So number 1 is flexibility. being able to move on. I see a lot of people, I see people doing the same job for the rest of their lives just because they don't want to step out of that comfort zone. You're miserable doing it, but you'll keep doing it because it's risky to kind of let go. I also see how some of us don't read the signs that we get from the universe. I don't know if you all have read Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. Has anyone read it? Okay. So he talks about being able to, or being receptive to signs that you get. You know, you could be trying the same venture over and over again. Like me, 5 years in Australia, it was not working out for me. But I was forcing myself to be there, thinking, I have to do this, I have to finish my degree. I want to get, my PR here, I want to stay here, but clearly it did not work for me. So the moment I understood that, I stepped away. So being flexible and being humble enough to let life happen through you, I think is quite important. Next one. So taking risks. I studied criminal justice administration. I tried doing my master's in psychology. I worked so many odd jobs, call centers. I was a receptionist at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant in Melbourne. I came back to Sri Lanka. I got into the media industry. I was a radio personality, TV personality. I worked for NGOs. I taught kids. I taught adults. I tried everything to figure out my path. So sometimes you do have to take a risk and be vulnerable and kind of go out there. So following your highest excitement. The platform you see today, if you ever have come across my platform on Instagram or whatever, once upon a time used to be just a personal account of a girl who just really likes to lift, who really likes to share her food stories and her innermost thoughts on social media, because that's what makes her happy. So if you want to develop a brand for yourself, make sure you do it for yourself, and you do it from a place of joy, because that energy will translate into everything. People will connect with that. Next one. So be fearlessly authentic. You got to be yourself. If you try to be somebody else, just like Gary Vee says, the truth is what sells the most. People can sense the truth. So be fearlessly yourself, but this also means that you need to know yourself. You need to develop self-awareness. If you don't know yourself, you might not be able to be authentic because you're still learning how. So how I did this was by being alone a lot, by being super depressed in my room and cutting people off and trying to understand what's going on in here. So you might have to, experience that as well. But that's something that is really important to me, being authentic and being real. Next one. And this is my favorite, becoming obsessed with becoming better. This idea of being stagnant, not growing, drives me insane. I want to learn new things every single day. I want to refine my skills every single day. I want to be better at the services I provide every single day. And I also want to become spiritually aware and understand my environment and understand why things happen a certain way, So becoming self-aware and also being obsessed with becoming better will translate into everything you do and everyone you cross paths with. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys have questions.
Any questions? Okay. Okay, there's one.
So in terms of building your brand as an influencer, what are the key, steps you could give, like for someone who actually wants to say influence others? So you said that do something that is unique to yourself, right? But do it because you love it. But do you want to create value, or do you want to, how do you say it? Do you do it because you want to create value, or do you do it for yourself?
If you do it from a place of authenticity, I think inevitably you will end up creating value. That's what I think.